All right, so you're gearing up for the ISTQB CTFL 4.0 exam. Fantastic. Today we're going to do more than just review topics. We're going to install the software tester's mindset. As a trainer, I'm going to show you exactly how to think, how to analyze, and how to decode these questions like someone who's already certified. The goal? You walk into that exam with some serious confidence. Let's get started. And to do that, we're going straight to the source. No messing around. Everything we're about to cover is pulled directly from the official ISTQB sample exam questions. So this isn't just theory, okay? This is a hands-on workout for the real deal, using the exact type of questions you're going to see. Because here's the secret, and you really need to get this. The CTFL exam, it's not a memory test. It's a logic puzzle. It's designed to test how you apply concepts when you're under a bit of pressure. So the real question is, are you ready to learn the patterns, spot the keywords, and really develop that critical thinking that makes all the difference between passing and failing? Let's do it. First things first, we have to understand the core identity of a tester. It's so much more than just finding bugs. It's about having this healthy dose of professional skepticism and truly understanding the principles that guide everything we do. This mindset, it's the foundation for everything else. Let's kick things off with a concept you absolutely have to know inside and out, the pesticide paradox. Just think about it like this. If you keep spraying the very same pesticide on a field, what happens? Well, the bugs that survive become resistant, and pretty soon, your pesticide is useless. It's the exact same idea with software tests. If you just keep running the same old tests over and over, they'll eventually stop finding new problems. So let's put that idea to work. Check out this question. It's pulled right from the sample exam. The situation is, your regression tests are all passing, management is ecstatic, high fives all around, but you, the tester, you've got this nagging feeling that something's not right. Why? What principle is buzzing in the back of your head? Just take a second, pause, and think about it. What's your gut telling you? And boom, the correct answer is a perfect example of that tester's mindset in action. It's the pesticide paradox. Your professional skepticism is what tells you that a silent test suite might actually be an ineffective one. And this isn't just for the exam. On a real project, this prevents a totally false sense of security. See, your job isn't just to run tests, it's to constantly question if those tests are still any good. A certified tester knows that zero new defects doesn't always mean perfect quality. It could just mean your tests are stale. All right, let's build on that. A tester's mindset is great, but it's not much used without the right tools, right? The exam is absolutely going to test if you can tell the difference between all the various test techniques and, more importantly, know when to use them. It's like having a full toolkit. You gotta know when to grab a hammer and when to grab a wrench. Now, a huge category in that toolkit is what we call experience-based testing. Honestly, you can think of this as the art of testing. We're talking about techniques like error guessing or exploratory testing, where your brain, your past experience, and your gut feelings are the main tools, not some super detailed script. It's all about hunting for bugs based on a hunch, using what you know about where software usually breaks. So, with that definition fresh in your mind, take a look at this question. It's asking for the one thing that really defines this whole category. 3 of these options, they describe other kinds of testing. Only one of them really gets to the heart of the experience-based approach. Can you find it? The correct answer is, of course, the one that puts the spotlight on the tester's own knowledge and experience. But listen, just as important is knowing why the others are dead wrong. The other options are talking about totally different approaches. Looking at the internal code, its logic, its branches, that's white box testing. It's like a mechanic popping the hood of a car. Checking the software against the requirements without ever seeing the code. That's black box testing. You're like a driver who just cares if the car goes and stops. This question is a classic example of how the exam checks if you can sort your techniques correctly. Okay, let's keep this momentum going. A certified tester doesn't just see a list of tasks. No, they see the entire software development lifecycle as one big interconnected process. A huge part of that is understanding which test level is the best place to find a specific type of failure. And here it is, a classic exam question style, the matching game. They'll give you a list of problems and a list of solutions, and your job is to make the perfect pairs. It's specifically designed to see if you understand the big picture. Where, in the whole process, are you most likely to catch each of these different failures? This table lays it out perfectly. Look, at the very lowest level, component testing, that's where you're finding bugs inside a single chunk of code. Then, when you start putting those chunks together, integration testing checks to see if they can even talk to each other correctly. System testing zooms out and looks at the whole application to see if it follows the business rules. And finally, acceptance testing asks the most important question of all. Does this thing actually solve the user's problem? Knowing which level catches which bug is absolutely non-negotiable for this exam. So, we've hit mindset, techniques, and levels. Now, let's get practical. Testing doesn't just happen. It has to be planned, it has to be estimated, and it has to be managed. The exam is going to expect you to be able to apply some basic project management formulas to the world of testing. Take a look at this. They give you 3 numbers: the best case scenario, the worst case scenario, and what's most likely to happen. Your job isn't to just guess, it's to apply a very specific formula to find a weighted average. This is where knowing the material and actually applying it come together. And here's the formula you just have to know. You take the optimistic number, add the pessimistic number, but you add 4 times the most likely number. Then you divide that whole thing by 6. Now, why 4 times? Well, it's because this formula gives more weight, more importance to what's most likely to happen. It makes the estimate way more realistic than just a simple average. So when we plug in our numbers, we get 2 plus 4 times 11 plus 14, all divided by 6. Okay, so that's 2 plus 44 plus 14, which gives us 60. And 60 divided by 6 is 10 person-hours. It's really straightforward math, but you have to know that formula cold and apply it correctly when the clock is ticking. Whew, we've covered a ton of ground, right? From these high-level principles all the way down to practical calculations. So let's tie it all together. What is the absolute core mindset you need to have to walk out of that testing center with a pass? So here is it, the certified tester mindset boiled down to 5 key points. 1, think critically, just like we did with the pesticide paradox. 2, know your tools. Know the difference between black box, white box, and experience-based. 3, see the big picture, connecting all the test levels to the failures they find. 4, be practical. Apply those formulas like 3-point estimation. And maybe most importantly, 5, always focus on the why. Deconstruct the wrong answers so you can be absolutely certain about the right one. This is the mindset that's going to get you certified. And that brings us to the end. I'm going to leave you with one final question for your own prep. Looking back at everything we just covered, what was the one area that made you feel just a little bit uncomfortable? Was it the principles, the techniques, the levels, or the management stuff? Be really honest with yourself, because that's exactly where you should focus your final push of studying. Good luck.